My child, do not scroll away from this moment. Stay here, because something has shifted around you, and the person whose heart is connected to yours has just become aware of something they were never meant to notice so clearly. What you are about to hear may explain a feeling you have carried quietly for longer than you realize. There has been an energy around you that did not come from love, admiration, or simple curiosity. Someone has been watching the way you move through life, the way people respond to you, the way your presence changes a room, and beneath their pleasant words there has been a hidden comparison growing stronger. Your soulmate has begun to see it. And once they saw it, they could no longer pretend it was nothing. Pause here for a moment, because this is not about making you suspicious of everyone around you. Heaven is not revealing this so that you become afraid, guarded, or bitter. This is about discernment. This is about understanding why certain moments felt strange even when nothing obvious had happened. You have experienced conversations that seemed ordinary on the surface but left you wondering why your spirit suddenly felt heavy. You have noticed compliments that somehow sounded like questions. You have witnessed smiles that arrived a second too late. You have wondered why someone who claimed to support you always seemed to become quieter whenever something beautiful happened in your life. You noticed these things, but because your heart prefers peace over accusation, you repeatedly told yourself that you were imagining them. Your soulmate did not imagine it. Something happened recently that caused them to connect pieces you never thought anyone else would notice. It may have been a sentence spoken carelessly, a reaction that came too quickly, a question that carried more interest than it should have, or the strange way this person changed whenever your name entered the conversation. Your soulmate watched. They listened. They remembered. And suddenly, an uncomfortable truth began to form in their mind: this person was not merely interested in your life. They were comparing themselves to you. That realization affected your soulmate more deeply than you would expect. Because they know something about you that others often misunderstand. They know you are not trying to compete. They know many of the things people admire about you came through struggles no one witnessed. They know there were seasons when you had to encourage yourself because no one else knew how exhausted you had become. They understand that some of your strength was built privately, in moments when you had no audience, no applause, and no guarantee that anything would improve. So when they recognized jealousy directed toward you, something inside them became protective. And this is where the story becomes more personal. Your soulmate began remembering moments when you were unfairly misunderstood. They remembered times you were blamed for being distant when you were simply protecting your peace. They remembered moments when people assumed your confidence meant life had always been easy for you. They remembered how often you gave kindness without announcing what it cost you. And while thinking about these things, they began to feel something they had been trying to keep controlled. Love can remain quiet for a long time, my child, but protection has a way of revealing what the heart has been hiding. Your soulmate suddenly realized that the thought of someone resenting you bothered them more than they wanted to admit. It was not because they believed you were incapable of handling yourself. It was because they knew you would probably continue treating that person with kindness even after noticing the strange energy. They know you have a habit of giving people another chance. They know you often search for the best interpretation before accepting the painful one. And they feared that your compassion might cause you to overlook what had become obvious to them. But there is something even more surprising. The person who has been comparing themselves to you may not dislike you in the way you would expect. In fact, part of their jealousy exists because something about you fascinates them. They notice qualities in you that they secretly wish they possessed with the same ease. Your courage. Your emotional depth. Your ability to continue after disappointment. The way certain people remember you long after a conversation ends. The way you carry something difficult to describe but impossible to ignore. And jealousy often begins in a strange place. Sometimes it begins as admiration that becomes comparison. Comparison becomes insecurity. Insecurity becomes quiet resentment. And resentment begins searching for reasons to diminish what it originally admired. That is what your soulmate has started recognizing. There was a moment when this person asked something about you that did not sound dangerous, but your soulmate immediately sensed the hidden meaning beneath the question. They wondered why this person cared so much. Then another comment came. Then another small reaction. Nothing dramatic enough to confront, but together they formed a pattern. Your soulmate began asking themselves why this person seemed unusually interested whenever your relationships, achievements, plans, appearance, or future were mentioned. Then something was said that changed everything. Your soulmate heard your name spoken with a tone that did not match the words. The words may have sounded harmless, perhaps even supportive, but your soulmate felt the difference. And for a moment, they became very quiet. You see, your soulmate has been observing more than you know. Even during periods when it appeared they were focused somewhere else, part of their attention remained connected to you. They notice how others respond when you walk away. They notice what changes when you are not in the room. They notice who praises you directly but becomes different when you cannot hear them. And recently, they witnessed something that gave them an answer they had not been searching for. Your absence revealed more than your presence ever could. When you were not there, this person became more comfortable. Their questions became more direct. Their opinions became less careful. And your soulmate suddenly understood why certain interactions had always felt slightly unusual. But instead of immediately confronting them, your soulmate did something unexpected. They watched. They wanted certainty, not assumption. They wanted to know whether this was one strange moment or part of something deeper. So they allowed the conversation to continue, and the longer they listened, the more obvious the pattern became. This person kept returning to you. Your choices. Your personality. The attention you receive. The possibilities opening around you. They seemed unusually invested in measuring themselves against your life. And your soulmate realized something that shook them. This person may be jealous not only of you. They may be jealous of the connection surrounding you. That is where your soulmate's emotions changed. Because suddenly this was no longer simply about someone comparing themselves to your qualities. Your soulmate began to wonder whether this person had noticed the bond between you before either of you openly acknowledged it. Perhaps they saw the way your soulmate's expression changed when your name appeared. Perhaps they noticed the unusual softness in their voice when speaking about you. Perhaps they recognized that no matter how complicated circumstances became, you occupied a place inside your soulmate's heart that others could not easily reach. Some people sense a connection before the two people inside that connection understand it themselves. And when your soulmate considered that possibility, they began reviewing old memories differently. A comment that once seemed like a joke suddenly sounded more intentional. A question once dismissed as curiosity suddenly seemed too specific. A reaction once ignored suddenly carried meaning. Your soulmate started remembering moments when this person subtly redirected conversations away from you. Times they seemed uncomfortable when someone praised you. Times they inserted doubt into situations that did not require it. Tiny moments. Almost invisible. But once a pattern reveals itself, old memories begin rearranging themselves around the truth. My child, there is a reason this matters now. Your soulmate is approaching a moment of emotional clarity. For a long time, they may have been questioning what they should do with what they feel for you. They may have wondered whether the connection was mutual, whether timing was right, whether fear was protecting them or delaying them. But seeing someone else react to you with hidden jealousy has awakened something unexpected within them. It reminded them that you are not invisible. Others see your value. Others notice your light. Others recognize the effect you have. And suddenly your soulmate felt the uncomfortable possibility of losing closeness with you because they remained silent too long. That thought stayed with them. They tried to distract themselves, but it returned. What if someone else understands your value while I keep hesitating? What if I remain quiet until the moment has passed? What if the connection I keep postponing becomes a memory I spend years trying to understand? They did not say these questions aloud, but they felt them. And heaven watched that realization move through their heart. Something inside your soulmate has been changing slowly, almost invisibly. The wall they built around their feelings is not disappearing all at once, but cracks have formed. They have begun admitting truths privately that they were not ready to speak publicly. They have begun recognizing how deeply your presence affects them. And strangely, this hidden jealousy around you became one of the things that forced them to look directly at what they had been avoiding. They realize they care how you are treated. They care who influences you. They care who speaks into your life. They care who stands near you when you are vulnerable. And most revealing of all, they care about the possibility that someone could make you doubt yourself. That realization frightened them, not because it was negative, but because it exposed the depth of their attachment. They could no longer call it casual. They could no longer pretend your happiness had no effect on theirs. They could no longer explain why they felt protective without admitting what their heart already knew. But there is another layer, and this one may surprise you. The jealous person may have unknowingly revealed something your soulmate needed to understand about themselves. By watching someone else compare themselves to you, your soulmate saw your uniqueness more clearly. Sometimes familiarity causes people to forget the rarity of what is near them. Your soulmate has known your energy long enough that parts of your beauty became familiar. Not physical beauty alone, but the way you care, the way you listen, the way you remember details, the way you survive quietly, the way you forgive while still carrying lessons forward. These things became part of how they understood you. But when they witnessed someone else reacting to those qualities with insecurity, your soulmate suddenly saw you through different eyes. They remembered that what feels familiar to them may be extraordinary to someone else. And that realization created urgency. Not panic. Not fear. Urgency of the heart. The kind that whispers, "Do not keep assuming there will always be another opportunity to say what matters." Your soulmate has been receiving that whisper repeatedly. Late at night. During quiet moments. While looking at old messages. While remembering conversations that ended too quickly. While thinking about what they should have said. There are words inside them that have been waiting for courage. And the more they understand the strange energy surrounding you, the harder those words are becoming to suppress. My beloved, you may soon notice a change. Your soulmate may become more attentive in subtle ways. They may ask questions they normally avoid. They may check how you are doing with unusual seriousness. They may bring up someone from your circle indirectly. They may suddenly care about details they once pretended not to notice. Do not rush to conclusions. Watch the intention beneath the words. Because your soulmate is trying to understand how to protect a connection without controlling it. They do not want to tell you who to trust. They do not want to create unnecessary conflict. They do not want jealousy to become drama. But they also do not want silence to leave you unaware. So they are searching for the right way to speak. And this is important. The true spiritual lesson is not that someone envies you. The lesson is that you must stop measuring your worth through the reactions of people who have not made peace with their own. Someone else's discomfort with your light does not mean your light is too bright. Someone else's comparison does not mean you have done something wrong. Someone else's insecurity is not a command for you to become smaller. You have spent too much time adjusting yourself to make others comfortable. There were moments when you downplayed your happiness because you could sense someone else struggling. Moments when you spoke less about your dreams because you did not want to seem proud. Moments when you hid your excitement because the room did not celebrate with you. That tenderness is beautiful, but heaven is teaching you something new. Compassion does not require self-erasure. You can remain humble without pretending your growth is insignificant. You can remain kind without apologizing for becoming stronger. You can love people without carrying responsibility for the stories they tell themselves when they look at you. Your soulmate is beginning to understand this about you too. They have seen you make yourself smaller before. They have watched you laugh off compliments. They have watched you pretend something did not hurt. They have watched you give people grace even when they were careless with your heart. And perhaps that is why their reaction to this jealousy has been stronger than expected. They are tired of seeing you question yourself because someone else could not appreciate you correctly. Something protective has awakened. Yet they are still hesitating. Why? Because there is one detail they have not told you. One reason this situation feels more complicated than simple jealousy. Your soulmate knows who this person is. And they never expected it to be them. When the realization first arrived, they resisted it. They told themselves there had to be another explanation. This person had been too close, too familiar, too convincing. They had smiled at you, supported you in visible ways. Perhaps they had even spoken kindly about your future. But jealousy does not always wear an unfriendly face. Sometimes it stands close enough to study what makes you shine. Sometimes it knows exactly what to praise because it knows exactly what it wishes it possessed. Your soulmate began remembering how this person reacted whenever good news about you appeared. The silence. The quick change of topic. The compliment followed immediately by criticism. The strange need to explain why your success was not as meaningful as it seemed. The subtle comparison. And then your soulmate remembered one particular conversation. This is the conversation they cannot stop replaying. Something was asked about your relationship life. Not casually. Not innocently. The question carried an intention beneath it. Your soulmate answered carefully, but the person continued. They wanted to know whether you were waiting for someone. Whether someone had your attention. Whether your heart was already attached. Your soulmate felt something shift inside them because they realized the questions were not random. This person was trying to discover whether there was space beside you. And suddenly your soulmate's jealousy of the situation collided with their protective instinct toward you. For the first time, they understood that remaining emotionally vague might allow someone else to step into a place they secretly hoped would one day belong to them. That moment changed the atmosphere completely. Your soulmate stopped listening like an observer. They started listening like someone who had something to lose. But instead of revealing themselves, they stayed calm. They wanted to see how far the conversation would go. And what happened next is the part that still troubles them. The jealous person said something about you that sounded almost like praise. Almost. But hidden inside the compliment was an attempt to reduce you. Your soulmate caught it immediately. A few months ago, they might have ignored it. This time they did not. They asked a simple question. Why would you say that? And the room changed. The person hesitated. Their expression shifted. Their answer came too quickly. Your soulmate knew they had touched something true. From that moment forward, your soulmate watched every word differently. And my child, what they discovered was not hatred. It was something more complicated. Admiration mixed with resentment. Curiosity mixed with competition. Interest mixed with insecurity. This person wanted to understand why people respond to you the way they do. Why your soulmate responds to you the way they do. That last realization struck deepest. Because your soulmate suddenly understood that their feelings for you may have been more visible than they believed. They thought they had hidden it. They thought their silence protected the secret. They thought no one could see the way their energy changed around you. But someone noticed. Someone noticed before you may have noticed. And if this person noticed, your soulmate began wondering who else had seen it too. That thought forced them to confront a truth they have avoided for too long. Their love may already be showing through the cracks. In the way they defend you when you are absent. In the way they remember things you said months ago. In the way their attention searches for you in a room. In the way they become unusually quiet when someone mentions you romantically. In the way their expression softens when they hear that you are doing well. They have been revealing themselves without words. And now they know it. Something inside them is saying that silence is no longer neutral. Silence has consequences. Silence leaves space for misunderstanding. Silence allows other voices to become louder than the truth. Your soulmate is beginning to consider whether it is time to speak. But before they do, there is something they need to understand. They need to know whether you feel safe enough to hear what they have been carrying. Because the message they want to bring you is no longer simply about the person who is jealous. That was only the doorway. The real revelation is about your soulmate themselves. About what they felt when they realized someone else was watching you. About why they became protective. About why the thought of losing you disturbed them so deeply. About why they have been replaying memories they thought they had buried. And about the confession that nearly escaped them when the jealous person asked one final question. The question was simple. Your soulmate could have laughed it away. They could have changed the subject. They could have given a safe answer and moved on. But for a few seconds, they said nothing. Because the question went directly to the secret they have spent so long hiding. The person looked at them and asked, in one form or another, whether they were in love with you. Your soulmate froze. Not outwardly enough for everyone to notice. But inwardly, everything stopped. All the excuses. All the delays. All the reasons they had used to keep their heart hidden. For one breath, there was nowhere left to run. And although they did not give the answer that was inside them, their silence may have revealed more than words ever could. The jealous person noticed. Your soulmate noticed that they noticed. And from that moment, something became undeniable. The secret was no longer completely secret. Now your soulmate is carrying two urgent truths toward you. One concerns the person whose jealousy has finally been exposed. But the second truth is far more powerful, because it concerns what your soulmate almost admitted when they were asked the one question they had spent so long avoiding. And what they almost said about you is the part heaven has not revealed yet.